If you've ever walked away from an argument feeling calm and certain, and later wondered why it blew up, this is why. If you keep proving yourself right, it's usually not because you're more accurate than everyone else. It's because you're unknowingly shaping the evidence until it fits your first leaning. And then you treat that feeling of certainty like it came from the facts. You know the moment. A text comes in and your chest tightens before you even read it twice. You type a reply that feels clean and final. Then the fight starts, and later you still feel like you were the only reasonable one. Or it happens at work. A meeting ends and you replay one sentence someone said. That one sentence becomes the whole story. Everything else becomes background noise. Here's the uncomfortable part. When you feel most sure, you're often at your least curious, and the mind can turn that into proof fast without asking your permission. So here's what happens. You start with a leaning. It can be tiny, a suspicion, an assumption, a first impression. Then your attention begins to act like a search filter. It quietly highlights what matches. It quietly blurs what doesn't. You don't experience that as filtering. You experience it as clarity. Popular advice calls this just be open-minded, but that skips the part where your mind is already selecting the evidence before you notice. This isn't a character flaw. It's a normal human shortcut that saves effort. The cost is that it also protects your current story, even when the story is making your life harder. The functional reason it keeps happening is simple. Certainty feels stabilizing, especially when you're tired, rushed, or irritated. So the mind treats agreement as safety and contradiction as a threat. That doesn't mean you're making things up. It means you're sampling reality in a biased way. Then you make decisions and arguments based on that sample. One clear sign is how fast your mind finds support. You remember the one time it went wrong. You forget the 3 times it went fine. You call it pattern recognition. Another sign is the way questions get shaped. You don't ask, what happened? You ask, why would they do that to me? The question already contains the verdict. A third sign is when emotion starts standing in for accuracy. You feel strongly, so it feels correct. Your body is activated, so your mind labels it as certainty. The feeling becomes the evidence. And a fourth sign is how contradictions get handled. A detail doesn't fit, so it gets explained away in one sentence. You move on quickly. You don't slow down long enough to let the contradiction do its job. This is where fights and bad calls repeat, not because you don't have information, because your mind is curating the information before it reaches you. There are a few common ways people make it worse without realizing. One is debating to win. You talk like you're searching, but you're really building a case. In a courtroom like that, you only call witnesses for your side. Another is how people search online. The search terms are already loaded, so the results come back loaded. Then it feels like the internet confirmed you when it mostly mirrored you. A third is deciding while defensive. You're already keyed up. Your voice gets a little sharper, and your mind treats that energy as a sign to lock in. Maya runs into this at home and at work. Her partner says, "We need to talk about money," and she hears, "You messed up." At work, her manager asks for a revision, and she hears, "You're not good at this." She doesn't say those lines out loud, but her body reacts like they were said. So, she starts collecting evidence. She remembers the one comment from last month. She notices every small hesitation in someone's tone. By the time she speaks, she feels like she's responding to facts. There's a way to interrupt this that's more mechanical than emotional. It's a short ritual that keeps you honest when you feel sure. It's not about becoming neutral. It's about becoming checkable. Asterisk, asterisk. Step 1. Name the loop. Asterisk, asterisk. Say one sentence that admits you're leaning before you act. Something like, I'm assuming they're blaming me, or I'm expecting this to go badly. Asterisk, asterisk. Step 2. Cut the thread. Asterisk, asterisk. Find one strong reason you could be wrong, then name one missing fact you haven't checked yet. This isn't self-doubt, it's basic coverage. Asterisk, asterisk. Step 3. Reset on repeat. Asterisk, asterisk. Run a small test that could prove you wrong. Send one clarifying question. Check one number. Read the full message again slowly. Then, update your next step based on what actually happened, not on what you expected. This works in some situations, but not always. If the other person is unsafe, manipulative, or repeatedly dishonest, testing can turn into more contact than you want. And if you're in a high-stakes legal or medical situation, this kind of self-check isn't a substitute for professional guidance. Now, make it even easier. 3 small moves do most of the work in real time. They're simple because they have to survive stress. The first move is a phrase that slows certainty down by half a second. When you feel the lock-in, say, I'm leaning, not locked. Not as a performance, just as a private label. It keeps your brain from treating the first story as final. Maya uses this before she replies to a tense text. She notices her thumbs speeding up. She pauses and labels the leaning. Then her next sentence becomes a question instead of a verdict. The second move is a way to handle disagreement without turning it into a fight. Repeat the other person's point in your own words, as accurately as you can. Then ask one clarifying question before you respond with your view. You can feel how this changes the temperature in the room. This isn't politeness, it's a reality check. If you can't restate their point cleanly, you probably don't understand it yet. And if you do understand it, your reply gets sharper and shorter. The third move is for the scrolling spiral. When you notice you're hunting for proof, close the app and wait for 60 seconds. Then search one neutral phrase instead of the loaded one. You're not trying to be fair, you're trying to widen the sample. A neutral phrase sounds boring. That's why it works. It pulls you out of the group chat that keeps quoting itself as evidence. It gives your mind a different set of inputs to argue with. Notice what none of this requires. It doesn't require you to become calm first. It doesn't require you to stop having opinions. It just reduces how often your first impression becomes the whole story. Maya still has strong reactions. But now, she catches the moment earlier. The moment her mind starts building a playlist stuck on repeat. She doesn't try to delete the song. She changes what plays next. There's one more detail that matters. The goal isn't to punish yourself for being biased. The goal is to create a process that can correct you, even when you feel correct. That's the only kind of being right that holds up over time. When this goes well, you notice small things. Fewer long arguments that go in circles. Fewer confident decisions that later need cleanup. More moments where you can say, I might be missing something, without losing your position. And when it doesn't go well, the signal is also clear. You can't name a missing fact. You can't think of a reason you could be wrong. You keep reaching for sources that already agree with you. That's usually not logic. That's threat response wearing logic's clothes. And it's the moment to return to the ritual, not to push harder. Name the loop in one sentence. Cut the thread with one reason and one missing fact. Reset on repeat with one small test. The pattern doesn't end because you decide to be different. It shifts because you stop treating certainty as proof. And you start treating proof as something that can survive contact with reality. You'll still have opinions tomorrow. You'll still feel sure sometimes. The difference is whether your certainty can be checked.